Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Titin if you're new here, and I'm a Filipina makeup artist living in Stockholm, Sweden. The past 4 years that I've been living in Sweden has been a real roller coaster ride, from the whole visa process to the move to being a new mom to top that. But I'd be lying if I say that I didn't get to know Sweden so much better because of that. From the people to the architecture to the beautiful nature, there's just so much more to Sweden than just IKEA. So if you're coming here as a tourist or moving here for good or just a curious wanderer, this country will definitely surprise you more than you think. So let me flex a bit and allow me to share with you the top 10 reasons why I love Sweden and why I call this place home. On my list, everyone speaks English in Sweden. If not everyone, maybe almost, but this whole idea makes it very welcoming to come here. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a big advocate for learning new languages, and I know for one that I had to learn Swedish within a year, but that doesn't mean I don't appreciate the fact that you can get by just speaking in English. And I remember when I first came here, it was just so convenient to go anywhere and do everything with just English on your belt. You can go to different shops, buy in different boutiques, and even order at restaurants by just speaking English. That makes everything so much more welcoming when you come here. You know, there's no more fear that you won't be able to do whatever it is that you want, because that is definitely possible. Number 2 on my list, Swedes are drop dead gorgeous, and I mean they're hot, they're beautiful, they're very charming. I don't know what it is it the Viking gene, the eyes, the nose, the color of the hair, I don't know, but to me they're just so beautiful. And I know beauty is very subjective, but there's so many people that's agreed with me on this. I've had so many friends that has come here from Asia, from the States, from Canada, even from Italy. Everyone says the same thing. When I first came here to Sweden, it was just so cozy to know that you can just sit at a cafe and people watch, and not just to learn how Swedes live their lifestyles, but also because Swedes are just real eye candy. Speaking of candy, number 3 on my list would have to be Swedes have the best candy in the world, and I mean the best. They have the best tasting candy. It's even a little bit more healthier because their candy doesn't have corn syrup on it, it's gluten-free, and it's trans fat free. I talk about this just because I didn't really grow up eating candy so much. I guess my family was more of an ice cream family, if you get what I mean. It was so exciting to know that in Sweden there's this one whole day wherein the whole family looks forward to that day. It's called Lördagsgodis, which is Swedish candy on a Saturday, and the whole family can, you know, select and pick their candy from the grocery store, and they could sit in front of the TV and snack and eat their favorite sweets. And they have a wide range of flavors, from sweet to sour to salty, and even the bizarre. So I found out that Swedes actually consume the most candy in the world. And I mean, for every family that has 3 to 4 people in it, they can consume to up to 17 kilos of candy per year. And now that's a lot of candy. So it only means one thing, needless to say, Swedes really take their sweet consumption seriously, and it's really part of the Swedish culture. So number 4, coffee is life in Sweden, and I really appreciate this. Being a coffee drinker, here in Sweden you can find the most beautiful tasting, deep, dark, bold flavors in coffee. At the same time, they have this fika culture. Fika, if you haven't heard about that word, fika is this small tiny little breaks that Swedes take in between, you know, lunchtime, breakfast, or dinner. It could be basically any time, and this is a time where they can actually socially interact with a colleague or a family member. And to me, this is very important and very special, because I realized how Swedes really care about the person's mental health. So they believe that taking small breaks from your work or your busy lifestyle is actually gonna help you with how you clear your mind. You can just recharge and take a step back and take a breather, you know, regain that lust to be able to work again. Number 5 on my list, Sweden is almost cashless. Now, this is very very random, but to me this has been very helpful, and it has been very convenient when paying for bills in restaurants or at the stores. When I'm buying something, I can skip bringing a whole wallet. I can just have a card holder with my credit card, my ID, and my bus card in it. At the same time, there's also another way to pay your bills here through Klarna, for example. It's a company wherein they basically handle your purchases in store or online. So you could do down payment schemes, you can pay after you've received your goods, or you can pay directly after, and you will always get like a receipt or a reminder that it's about time to pay for your bills. I really appreciate this because I think it's really smooth. Also, they have this thing called Swish where you can send your money directly to someone and they will receive it right then and there. This has been very convenient because you don't have to line up in the bank anymore or wait a few days to get money. It just really makes you realize how Sweden is very advanced. So since we're talking about convenience, number 6 on my list, they're also very practical and they live by the DIY lifestyle. So this has been very important to me, if not the most important, that has made the most impact in my life. Coming to Sweden, I've learned to become more independent and very responsible. Well, basically they didn't invent IKEA for nothing. So not to sound snobbish or anything, but I actually grew up having like helpers around. You know, we always had someone to cook for us, drive us to school. We had nannies all the time. And I guess here you just really have to rely on yourself. And this has been really helpful to me, and I'm really proud to say that, you know, I've learned so much more about myself and I've been more domesticated, especially now that I'm a mom. I had to do everything by myself. I remember when we moved to this house, I had to paint all the walls, and that has been one thing that I would be always proud of because I never thought in a million years I would be able to do it. And for example, just like in the Philippines, you always had to hire like an electrician, someone to clean your house, clean your yard. But here, since employment is very expensive, if I explain it correctly, you know, you pay so much taxes to just hire someone, and just services and labor is very pricey in Sweden. So here you're really forced to do everything on your own. Number 7 on my list, probably something people don't really think about. Sweden has one of the most cleanest waters in the world, and I mean, this is amazing because I grew up that I always have to buy a bottle of water when I'm traveling, especially when I'm traveling, and if I go to a country that I'm not sure of, if I can drink the water from the tap. Here you can drink the water straight from the faucet, and it's not just clean, it's very delicious. And even as a tourist, when you come here to Sweden, you can just bring an empty bottle and you can fill that bottle everywhere here in Sweden as long as there's a faucet and there's a running water. So number 8 on my list, Swedish summers are the best. And I know everyone from the Philippines are probably looking at me saying, excuse me, summers in the Philippines are amazing. I know that, but summers in the Philippines are March and April, and here in Sweden it's June, July, August. So basically during this time it's monsoon season in the Philippines. So that's probably about a tie. So Swedish summers are the best for me just because I feel like when the sun comes out in Sweden, the whole Swedish population gets activated. For some reason, people just have so much more life. Everything is just so vibrant. Everywhere it's green, flowers everywhere, and the whole city livens up. And you know, majority of the year everything is just cold and dark and gray, but during the summertime everything is just bright and glowing and yellow, if you understand what I mean. Everything is just beautiful to look at. It's also one of the best times to check out Sweden because the sun almost never sets, and I know that in the north actually the sun never really sets. Here in Stockholm at about midnight you still see that the sky is so bright and blue, and this is something that makes everyone feel so restless, trying to do everything that they could possibly do, you know, go out, hang out in parks, swim in the lake. It's just a really exciting time in Sweden. Second to the last on my list, Swedish architecture is just so beautiful. There is a perfect combination of old school and new school, wherein you see how they still maintain all those architecture that is coming from the 1800s, 1600s, everything from the past. There's so many places that you're not even allowed to renovate at all just because they're part of Swedish history. But at the same time, there's so many places here, especially apartments and buildings, that are built the modern way, which is so much more beautiful. The Scandinavian design, Nordic design is just so beautiful, very minimalistic, a lot of like neutral and subdued tones. My Pinterest board is overfilled with ideas. So it's very inspiring to see Swedish architecture that has transitioned from old school to new school, and still there's there's this combination that happens in between. It's last but not the least, this is something that still blows my mind. Sweden is so technologically advanced. It is so impressive. Did you know that the zipper was invented by a Swede? Tetra Pak. I remember growing up, we would always carry these like juice boxes to school, and they always had the tiny small logo that says Tetra Pak. I didn't know that was Swedish. The pacemaker is Swedish. Nobel Prize is Swedish. There's so many more things that I can tell you that that's actually Swedish. I mean, Spotify is Swedish. I've been using Spotify for such a long time. I didn't even realize that it was Swedish until I came here. So it's so exciting to know that you live in a country where everyone is just so extremely smart and advanced in thinking. Now, when you listen to me talk, it sounds like Sweden is such pure utopia. It is not. But I did film this video today to talk to you about the positive and negative sides of Sweden, because to be honest, the positive side outweighs the negative, and I could go on all day talking to you about everything that I love about Sweden. And something that I actually didn't put on my list are the people. Swedes are in general one of the most heartwarming, kindest people that I've met. I really felt welcome here, and that is one of the main reasons why I can call Sweden my home now. I feel that I belong, and I feel that I've learned to become a better person. I found the better version of myself here in Sweden, and I feel that I'm really accepted, and I don't know, it just feels like I've found my spot. And I even built my family here, raising my own baby here, and that's really important to me, knowing that I can settle down in a place and really call it home. So if there's one major highlight of actually living in Sweden, it would have to be that I learned to see life in a different perspective. This is something that I'm proud of, actually having to live here for 4 years. As I've said in so many other videos that I've filmed before, Sweden has changed me, and definitely for the better. I learned the perfect work and life balance, and actually valuing all the time spent with family even more. So if you've reached the end of this video, thank you so much. I hope that you got to know Sweden better today, especially through my eyes. And I would really appreciate it if you would click the like button, leave me a comment in the comment section down below, and click the subscribe button if you haven't already. That's the most important one. And I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye!